Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've talked about this on this show over and over and over again. Raymond Ibrahim joins us right now, a Shillman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center, Associate Fellow at the Middle East Forum. And Raymond, thank you for joining us, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Well, it's my pleasure. What we have going on here, apparently, in the post-Arab Spring Egypt, which this country continues to support on an official level with military hardware, very sophisticated, with millions and millions of dollars in financial aid and support, is legal, in effect, legalized persecution of Christians. And there are instances that you bring forth here that I've never heard of. I know the first one I did see on Fox News about a teacher, a Christian teacher who was accused by 10-year-old Muslim children of showing disgust when she spoke of Islam. So now she's charged. She's out on bail, but she was charged with a crime. And you document many, many other cases. Tell the folks what's going on here.
Well, what's going on is actually it exceeds Egypt. It goes beyond Egypt. It's a phenomenon that's occurring all throughout the Islamic world, which is basically the persecution of Christian minorities, which is why I actually just wrote my new book, Crucified Again, Exposing Islam's New War on Christians. And in regards to what's happening in Egypt, basically the Christian minority there, the indigenous inhabitants, of course, of Egypt before Islam invaded and conquered it in the 7th century, are now suffering from a legalized form of persecution. Whereas before, under Mubarak, they were, of course, attacked and their churches were bombed and burned. The most famous one is probably the New Year's Eve church attack, which left approximately 30 Christians dead. But attacks on churches in Egypt have happened often. But now that the Muslim Brotherhood is in power and they have revised the constitution, they've put in a stronger blasphemy code, which really is being used to silence and subjugate the Christians. So you mentioned that one, the teacher example, but the fact is, like you said, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are many, many more Christians who have been attacked, beat, and then arrested after they've been attacked and beat, and then imprisoned, and often given more than double the maximum sentence, which is currently 3 years. They've gotten 6 years. And the reason for that is because Muslim mobs would surround the courtroom and threaten to kill the Christian right then and there. Give him to us, we want to kill him. So they give him 6 years, hoping that would appease them. But this is all happening under the Morsi government, the Muslim Brotherhood, and it's being institutionalized. It's a codified form of persecution and oppression of Christians, which of course traces back to Islamic Sharia law, which does make it a capital crime to insult Islam, to offend Islam. And what's worse is also, according to Islamic Sharia law, the word of a Christian or a non-Muslim in general it can't be used as testimony. And so in the case you mentioned, the one Christian teacher, it's a 10-year-old child who's bringing this accusation saying she looked disgusted. But because no matter what she says, her word doesn't count, so she's going to, she suffers, she gets fired, and last I heard, she's traumatized and unable to speak.
Raymond, if the people of this country knew, now the media doesn't report on these stories, the President of the United States continues to treat Egypt as if they're our friend and our ally, and not only Egypt, it goes beyond, as you said. I'm well aware of the church burnings and the killings and the fighting going on and the attacks by Muslims on Christians all around the Arab world. If the American people knew about this, they would be outraged. But we have an administration and a media that will not say boo. This administration, this president, this State Department will not say boo while Christians are persecuted in the manner you're talking about and worse. I don't know how it's going to stop.
You're absolutely correct. Just to give you an example, in that book, Crucified Again, I have literally hundreds of anecdotes that, each one's worse than the other. Churches bombed, Christians beheaded, women raped and forced to convert to Islam. And probably 200-300 anecdotes just from the last year or two. And that's no means comprehensive. I didn't get everything. But I guarantee you, any one of those anecdotes, if it was reversed, if it was a Christian doing this to a Muslim, this would be all over the mainstream media. It would be reported constantly, and the Obama administration would be condemning it. And just to give you a recent example of how absurd there is, going back to Egypt, there's something called the Maspero massacre, which happened in 2011, which was basically because of the churches being attacked constantly in Egypt. Thousands of Christian cops got together and marched to protest. So the Egyptian military actually went out and slaughtered them, killed nearly 30, wounded hundreds. Literally, we have videotapes and photos of the military armored vehicles running over and flattening the heads and bodies of these Christians. And the White House, what it said was basically, now is the time for all sides to show restraint.
Yeah,
as
right.
as if an unarmed religious minority has to show restraint against the military. And then 2 weeks ago, in Nigeria, you're probably aware of Boko Haram, which is probably the worst jihadi organization that has literally, without exaggeration, burned hundreds, if not thousands, of churches, slaughtered.
Raymond, we only got a few seconds, but yeah, no, absolutely,
Okay.
and it's going on in Nigeria, it's going on around the Arab world, and it's got to be stopped. And thank you for pointing this out. And we'll talk to you again, Raymond Ibrahim, Shillman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center, Associate Fellow at the Middle East Forum. We thank you for your time, sir. We're coming back with Malzberg's Media Madness and our friend Noel Shepard of newsbusters.org on the Steve Malzberg Show.